Okay, I start recording and I want to just to go for the lesson 34, 5, 6. Let me see how it goes. Here it comes. Okay. So, what are your assignments before?
2, 3, 4, 5,
Okay,
6,
then let me
7.
just start with this one. Can you see the Hebrew fonts? Is it big enough to recognize, or do you want to see the bigger one? Bigger one? Okay. Okay, let me write. Then can I write here? Okay, I can write with this. Good. Okay, let me move on very quickly. And if you have any questions, just let me know. All right, number one. As you can see, we have Naka here. Why is it Naka? This is verb conversive and assimilation. So this one is first noun verb. Okay, now you know that this one must be a first noun verb. And what about, okay, we know that this one is Naka. And what about stem?
Sir,
If we
is
want to
that
know the stem,
page
sorry, Ibert,
that 176?
is it different one?
Um,
Lesson 34, I guess.
Lesson 34 will be 90.
160. Oh, then this is not. Then what are you? Naka. Then lesson 36 must be. Oh, yeah, lesson 36. Okay, let's just go move backward. Okay, lesson 36, 176, number one. Sorry. Is this your assignment, number one?
Yes.
Was it? Then I don't need to do this. Okay, then let's move on. Number two.
We had the assignment 1 to 6, Professor.
All right, then just let me know. 3, 4. Okay, let's do 3 and 4 then. Okay, here, actually lesson 36 was about PSM. So we need to understand when we need to use the form of a PSM. Okay, talking about the indicators of a PSM, then let's start. Affix form, what do you expect? PL affix for middle guttural letter. Okay, that's a strong verb should have EL, right? That's what that is called ELPL, right? So the first vowel point should be hirek for car stem. No, PL stem for the strong verb. But since middle guttural letter cannot take dagesh in the middle, then there should be compensation. In that case, the first vowel point hirek becomes what? Tsere. So that's something that you have to remember. And at the same time, what about prefix form? What is the difference between prefix form of strong verb and that of middle guttural in terms of PL? What vowel point do you expect for the strong verb PL in the prefix form? Of course, we are going to have a prefix pronoun like yod, tap, 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 alab, yob, tap, 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 noon. So after yod, then it'll have barak, like barak. Then under the bed, what specific vowel point do you expect?
Pata.
Kamet.
Actually, yeah, pata is supposed to be for strong verb. So when
Kamet.
we have a middle guttural letter, then pata will be lengthened to
Kamet.
kamet. So this is what you have to remember. And apart from this, you need to also pay attention to imperative form, because imperative form, especially second masculine singular, second feminine singular, second masculine plural, second feminine plurals, those forms are all from where? Prefix form. After removing the prefix pronoun, you can get this imperative form. Do you remember this? Then the vowel point under the first root letter should be the same. So as we are saying this, dealing with prefix form for the middle guttural letter, then pata becomes kamet. So for the imperative form, it'll take kamet as well. But the difference between them is, of course, the prefix pronoun. If you have prefix pronoun in the beginning, then that should be prefix form. And if we don't have prefix pronoun, prefix pronoun, and then the specific ending, then it should be imperative form. So what makes us confused is 2MSG, since it has no specific ending. But 2FSG, 2MPL, 2FPL, they have what? Specific endings of what? E, U, na, without the prefix pronoun in the beginning. So when it comes to 2FSG, 2MPL, 2FPL, we can easily recognize them. But the problem is 2MSG imperative form. So the indicator of 2MSG imperative form for the middle guttural letter, of course, everything is PL stem, is what? Kamet under the first root letter. All right. This is something you have to pay attention to. So understanding all those things, and let's just move on. Number 3, where can you see? Here. As you can see that this is a middle guttural letter. So when you have a middle guttural letter, then you always need to be careful with the stem, right? To see if this one is kal or pia. How do you think? What stem do you have? What stem do we have?
Peel.
Pia.
Yeah, it's a pia. Why? Because this is supposed to be
Under the
yeah, right. This one should be pata. Am I right? For the strong verb PL. Okay, look at your verb chart and go to the middle guttural letter. And then look at PL stem. And you have this form, kamet, under the bed for barak. And you need to compare that one with strong verb in order for you to understand the difference between them. And you need to go to page 433, strong verb, PL, prefix form. Then you have pata under the first root letter together with dageshi forte. Are you following me? So PL strong verb needs to take dageshi forte in the middle, and then the first vowel point under the first letter should be pata. Are you following me? So looking at the middle guttural letter, we know that this one is taking no dageshi, but you cannot say this one must be constant because we cannot see dageshi forte because middle guttural letter cannot take dageshi forte. Then you need to be careful. Oh, I can see that the first, not first, the vowel point under the first letter is taking kamets instead of pata. So it's lengthened. So it should be PS stem. Plus, your vocabulary will always help you to recognize the right stem because barak normally, the words is normally used in the PS stem, meaning to bless. Okay, so this one, as long as you can see the indicators of all those PL for the middle guttural letter, then we are done. So this one must be then what PGN? Yo together with Shurek ending 3 M PL and verb converse. So this one is a little bit tricky in terms of the last final translation. So now you can see that the subject is, okay, meaning is, and they blessed. And they blessed. But who are they? You may think this one is Elohim, so supposed to be God. So it can be the subject. But what about this? Bnei Israel also means the sons of Israel. So we have two nouns which are plural. So now Elohim can be the subject. At the same time, Bnei Israel can be the subject. So it should be determined by the context. But if you really look at the passage, the real subject should be Bnei Israel. So the last translation is, and the sons of Israel blessed God. Okay, but if we really look at what is given here, there is a possibility of putting this way. And God blessed the sons of Israel. So you have to determine, what subject you have depending on the context. Okay, so that's it. And as long as you understand this barak as a PS stem, then that's good. Number 4, I think this is a bit challenging because it has no verbs. And then this one has something to do with the usage of preposition lamed. Actually, preposition lamed has, normally the translation is for and to, right? But it has possessive meaning. I think that's what this exercise is all about. So it's not about PL stem, but it's about the usage of preposition lamed. So sometimes if you have a preposition lamed, then you will understand that, oh, it has something to do with possessive meaning. So now, what is the meaning of key?
Surely.
Surely. For, because, or sometimes you can say surely as well. And means
People.
people. Kadosh. What is kadosh?
Set apart.
Sorry?
Setting apart.
Kadosh means holy, right?
Holy, yeah.
Right. And then ata,
You.
right? And this one is
For
lame
the,
preposition together with Adonai,
for the
right?
Lord.
The Lord, for the Lord, your God. So then what is your translation? You are holy people. Okay? You are holy people for God, for the Lord, your God. So what do you mean? for the Lord. You are the Lord's holy people. The idea is like this, okay? So that's it. And what is it? I think we have a verb here too. Sorry, I missed the second line. What about this? In you, with you. What is the meaning of bakar? Does anybody remember? I think this is a verb. Bakar. Yes, choose. Choose. What about then stem? I think this one is also testing you regarding the usage of PS stem. Now, this middle guttural letter, then you need to be careful when you need to decide which stem you have. So, what stem do you think we have here?
Deal.
Why?
Comments under the first root letter.
Are you sure?
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
right. Yeah, this one must be a fixed form.
Mm.
If you are thinking like this one must be, all right, this one has no prefix pronoun. Are you following me? Because comments under the first root letter is the indicator of prefix pronoun, prefix form, and middle guttural PS stem. Do you understand what I'm saying? Actually, middle PS stem will take EL and then dagesh in the affix form. If we are dealing with a middle guttural letter, then dagesh cannot come for the second letter. Then what will happen? Hirek should be lengthened to jere. Are you following me?
Yes.
Then the second possibility, maybe it can be even imperative form as we just discussed, right? So this one should be either imperative form, or it can be even constant of affix form, because kaal, right? Do you remember? Kal affix strong takes kamets and pata. Am I right? So then what are you going to do? You just to go to the middle guttural letter, your verb chart, and then you need to look at imperative form. And what do you have there? PL. The first vowel point is kamet, but the second vowel point is not pata, but tsere. Imperative second masculine singular PL middle guttural is taking kamet. You're right, but the second vowel point is not pata, but it's tsere. So that's why it cannot be PL to MSG imperative form, but it is kal strong verb. If you look at page 439, look at middle guttural letter, kal affix 3 MSG. It's the same page. Then what do we have? Kaal. So kamets and pata, they are appearing. Are you following me? So now let's look at this. We're talking about PS stem and middle guttural letter. For the middle guttural letter, middle guttural verbs, if you see kamets under the first root letter, and there are several possibilities. What are they? Number one, imperative form. If you have prefix pronoun, then that should be prefix form PL. PL form. Are you following me? Let me see. If you have a verb, and this one is middle guttural, and then we have prefix pronoun, and if the first consonant takes comets, then it should be PS stem. This is what we understood, right? And without this prefix pronoun, and if you have comments under the first root letter, then two possibilities. What are they? Two MSG imperative or even CAL 3 MSG affix form. But the difference between them is what? The second vowel point. If you have zere, then that must be imperative form. If you have pata, then that must be 3 MSG affix form. Is it clear? All right, right. So yeah, that's something that we need to pay attention to. So this one, 3 MSG affix form, car stem. So then there must be he chose. He chose. Who is it choosing? The Lord, your God, to, and what is this? Ot ending. This one is ha, ya. Infinitive construct. So we have shua and holem. So haya, car stem, infinitive construct, and no PGN, lamed preposition special feature, meaning to be or to become. So translation is to be for him, for God. I mean, for the people, for people. So what is it? As I said, lamed has a possessive meaning. So his people. Lo, leam, these two can be put like, you can just stay with the literal translation saying to be for God, for people. Then what does it mean by to be for God, for people? For him, I mean for him, sorry. Then to be for him, for people means to be his people. So I'm trying to say lamed has something like possessive. It belongs to someone or something. And then I think this one meaning is given in your textbook. What is the meaning? Possession and treasure. Okay. So possession is what we can see in the preceding words. To be his people. And then it is what? Possession or treasure. From mean ko, all. And what is this? All the amim, the plural form of the people. Okay, just highlighting again. People that or who. I means what?
Onto.
Upon.
On.
And fene, ha adama. Ha adama means is the
Ground.
ground or earth, right? So pene means surface. So upon the surface of the earth. So what is our last translation? That's going to be a little bit tricky. How are you going to put all those words together? Let's just do it one by one. Because or for you are holy people for God, for the Lord your God. And then what is that? The Lord your God chose in you, with you. Okay, chose you. The idea is bakar, beka, bakara means he chose you. Okay. And then what is it? Why? Why did he choose you? To be his people. And you can highlight treasure, possession. So say his people as a treasure from all the people who are upon the surface of the earth. Do you understand? So he is choosing you among all the people in the world, right? To be his people as a treasure, as his possession. That's the idea in terms of literal translation. Okay? So I think this was a bit tricky, and let me move on. Let me just quickly highlight several things here. I think we need to understand what this is. Diber, is this noun or verb?
Verb.
It's a verb. Why? Because of dagesh porte in the middle. And what about stem? Don't be
Will be
confused.
affix.
Stem.
PL.
Yeah.
Here a fixed form because EL. And then it should be zere, but it becomes sego when it is attached to another thing through McCabe. So it affects, the vowel system. But yeah, it's still PS stem, a fixed form. So that's it. So Ruach Adonai is what? The Spirit of the Lord spoke in me. So the combination of dabar pe means speak to. I think this was dealt with before as an idiomatic expression. And although we have pe, you can just use as if it is speaking to. Number 6,
What are special features?
a
Should
fixed
we?
form.
What is
Special feature must be be. So
Okay.
be preposition together with one C SG pronominal suffix. Is it clear?
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. What about this? Barak.
Place.
Here you go. Kamets again, but it's not pata. This time we have zere. So this one must be what? What is it?
PL.
PL? Yeah, but what form do we have? We had the two possibilities, 3 MSG of fixed form, car, and then PL2 MSG imperative form. So what are the possibilities? What is the possibility? I mean, what is it? Must be what? If you have, okay.
PL imperative.
Yes, PL imperative 2 MSG. If you have tsere under the middle guttural letter. If you have pata, kametz pata combination means kal, a fixed form. So don't be confused, okay? So this is something you have to remember when it comes to middle guttural letter, middle guttural verbs. Is that clear? One more time. Let's go to, I'm going to finish today's lesson by looking at our verb charts so that we can understand everything. Okay. Let me show you this. Come on. Page 439. Can you still see my screen? Okay. 439. Then we are done. Seven, 8. Come on here. All right, look at this. We are dealing with the middle guttural and middle resh verb. Why is it so much important? Because if we are dealing with the PS stem, then the middle guttural letter cannot take dagesh porte. So that's why there is a challenge, of course, to recognize the PS stem. So we need to understand what compensation you can expect under the first root letter. So instead of EL, we have zere for a fixed form. So it should be hirek, right? For PL, a fixed strong verb, but we have zere. So hirek is lengthened to zere. What about prefix form? It of course must come with prefix pronoun, yod, tap, 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 aleph, those things. But the most important indicator is kamet under the first root letter. But if you think whenever you have kamet under the first root letter, it must be PS stem, then you may be in trouble. In case of prefix form, then you can say that because the prefix pronoun and kamets, then it is together with these kamets and prefix pronoun, you can say that. But whenever you see kamets, then you say, oh, it must be PL, then you gotta be really careful. Let's look at even imperative form. Imperative form comes with kamets, 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 kamets under the first letter. So as I said, when it comes to FSG, to MPL, to FPL, EUNA ending. So it's quite special indicator. So if you have EUNA ending and then kamets under the first letter for the guttural middle guttural verbs, then you can say it must be imperative. But what is really tricky is 2MSG imperative form. Because 2MSG imperative form will not take anything at the end. So there is a challenge for you to recognize as an imperative form. Why? Because even these kamets can come for kal, a fixed form. As you can see, for middle guttural. As you can see, kamets here and pata. So you need to understand the difference between kal and pl, between 3MSG of fixed form kal and 2MSG imperative form pl. Why? Because they are taking kamets under the first root letter. So then how are you going to see the difference between them? Then you need to look at the second vowel point. So in case of imperative form, it'll take zere, and then kal, a fixed form, will take pata. That's what I'm trying to say. I think this is what we haven't dealt with before. So now we need to really pay attention to this, okay? So hopefully tomorrow we are going to have just a short review of all the heat field diagnostics, okay? So thank you for the 5 minutes, extra 5 minutes. Do you have any question?
Professor,
Yes?
in the future, like review session, can you sort of like go over like the translation quiz if that is too difficult? If you feel like many people find it difficult or many people didn't do well enough, because for the for the homework we can always check because it is like referenced with a biblical verse. We can check our Bible to know the answer. But
All
like
right.
the translation quiz, we don't have the
Uh-huh.
answer. So can you review them?
All right. So are you saying that you want to ask me some questions regarding your assignment?
No. For the like in the review session, if you review like the homework, we already have the answer because like it is reference to a biblical verse. We can just check our Bible to know the answer.
So
But for
then
the
you don't want to spend for the review of these exercises.
no, the reviewing can be directed to the translation quiz, which we do not have the answer.
So you want me to deal with your translation quiz?
Yeah, and the previous ones,
All
especially
right.
if you feel like many people didn't do good enough, like made many mistakes or things like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. I think I can do that. But the thing is, I'm always, open And if you have any question regarding your translation quiz, you can always come back to me. But if you feel like, all right, this one might be good for everybody, then you can always ask me to do it. But I don't know if it is also necessary for me to deal with all the translation quiz at the same time. So what I'm suggesting is, okay, Amos, if you think, oh, after taking a look at my grading, and then I just, put all the explanation, that explanation of the right answer, and yet you can understand, just let me know, then I will be able to explain it, okay? But I don't think I'm going to explain every single thing appearing in your translation quiz. But whenever you have any question, couldn't understand what I did in terms of marking, always just you're welcome to ask me the question. Okay, but the thing is, this is quite it's a great challenge to me because I can see that it's quite slow compared to teaching in the classroom. So I was able to even deal with all the exercises that were not part of your assignment. Like I'm supposed to finish 3 lessons for your exercises. They are not part of your assignment. But after I gave you like 30 minutes for a translation quiz and I had just a little time. So I need to really think about how we can deal with this. So I'm always flexible to accepting your suggestion. Probably I can just highlight several important exercise instead of going for trying to cover every missing part. I think that's what we can do. All right, thank you, Amos. And any more question or comments? Any suggestion? No? All right. Then I
Thank you
want,
for being flexible, sir.
yeah, thank you. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. And then if we finish our lesson a little bit early, then we will always go back to some, parts that we have missed. All right. So I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Very quickly, Trumpy, I want to just see you. Just 1 minute, it'll be enough. Pierce, also, I want to see you, and Samson. Okay. All right. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Mm. Hey, Chombi, very quickly. So, what is the translation quiz that you haven't missed? Is it translation quiz 4?
Yes, for
All right. So then I'm going to give you extra quiz, but it's not going to be a translation quiz. So actually, Pierce and Samson did something similar before because they were not able to take one translation quiz. So I gave them oral test, and then Pierce took it last Friday, and today it will be for Samson. So next Friday, I'm going to give you an extra grammar quiz. Again, that's going to be oral quiz. Okay, so just be ready. What I'm going to ask you is about the general diagnostic of different, stems. Like I'm going to say, could you tell me the diagnostic of Hiffil first yod bark? Then you need to tell me what? Ho, preformative ho for the affix form. And what is the indicator of prefix form Hiffil? Then you're going to say what? Prefix pronoun and
and
plene,
yeah.
something like that. So you need to be aware of all those diagnostics for strong verb and weak verbs, and then pay attention to hip feel. Okay,
Yes.
so be ready.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Sir, this week.
Now, yeah, do you think you are ready to take it this Friday or next Friday?
It's okay this week, sir.
All right, then I'm gonna see you this week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right, yeah.